Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of On Deck here on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan. Shortly, we'll be joined by Alex from the East 10th Street Boys. Come on, talk a little Marlins baseball. As they're smoking hot right now. The month of June was good. I'm sure a lot of Marlins fans didn't want the month to end. They are 20-6 in the month, I want to say. 19-6 in the month of June. Best record in the month of June was the Marlins, but surprising a lot of teams and changing a lot of trade, if they keep on this path. Trading a lot of decisions from the trade deadline. But, it's first of the month. Starting to get a clearer picture of some division races, some teams that we thought should, teams in the AL East that would, you had the Blue Jays 10.5 back, 12 back in the loss column, 13 back in the loss column. Just coming off that almost winning the World Series last year. Baltimore made the couple moves this year. They're 12 games back. 33 to 48 losses. Boston, you thought, they'd have a little, you add Sonny Gray, you had Wilson Contreras, you had Caleb Durbin, you thought there'd be a little move there. You got the AL Central, which is AL Central is always kind of interesting, but Cleveland's kind of run that. But you got the upstart Chicago White Sox. But after Cleveland, it's pretty bare. AL West is very interesting. I think the AL West could be one of 4 teams. I think the Angels are probably the only team that don't have a shot to win it, with their 51 losses. The AL East is looking very solid right now, very competitive. Braves starting to take a little step back, but they have a lot of talent on that roster. Only 4 games up in the loss column. Phillies, who are turning on late, we're going to talk about later, and we'll talk about the Marlins in a little bit as well. And Washington is still 2 games above 500 with the lowly Mets. NL Central looking good. You got the Brewers there, who always seem to surprise me, 52-31. Got the Cubs, who are 9-1 in the last. Why didn't I put the Cubs in my notes? But that's fine. In the last 10, and 49-38. St. Louis is hanging around there. I think they probably fall off. Pittsburgh. I think the one clear race that it'll be a clear runaway is the Dodgers, and I'm going to talk about the Dodgers here coming up shortly. 56-30, best record in baseball. Arizona 43-42, and San Diego 43-42. 12 games back in the loss column. But we're getting a little clearer race. I think there's going to be some interesting ones. AL West will definitely be interesting. AL East will be definitely interesting. Interesting one. AL East, seems like a 2-horse race, but it'll be interesting. A lot of interesting ones. But the Dodgers, what can I say about it? It's frustrating, but they're looking like they're going to be the favorites this year. At this point, I don't see anybody taking them down from the AL side if they get through the NL. I think at one point I thought the Yankees, and I know we still got it's July 1st, so a lot of baseball left, but I think the 2 teams that have the best shot would be the Yankees or the Rays, and I think the Rays got to make some moves. But their offense continues to produce at an elite level, and they're getting some players back from injury to an already deep roster. Even with injuries throughout the season, they've maintained one of baseball's best record, and look like a team could add more at the deadline. Speaking of the deadline, which is a little over a month away on August 3rd, I think there's a few areas the Dodgers got to, which is kind of tough to hear. Don't need much identifying for the trade deadline. But I mean, you look for a second baseman. I think their second base position is a little up in the air with Hassan Kim, with Alex Freeland would be one to identify, and you can never have enough bullpen depth once it comes to October. I think with the Dodgers, there's maybe a couple starters here and there. You go to that. We've seen that 4-man rotation work in October for them. I think they moved some pitchers. The Dodgers are reminding everyone why they consider baseball's gold standards, despite dealing with key injuries from pitchers for most of the season. Obviously, Blake Snell has been out basically all year. They continue to win thanks to an explosive offense, outstanding depth, and the ability to get production from nearly every spot. I mean, if you look on the pitching side, I mean, you're losing. You don't have Blake Snell, who Blake Snell's made one appearance on the year through 3 innings. You've got Yamamoto, who was the World Series MVP. He's 8-5, but 2.67 ERA. I expect a lot more from him. You got Shohei Ohtani's having a great year on the mound, 8-2 with the 1.58 ERA, and then you're getting Justin Werbowski. He's 10-2 on the year. He's got a 2.80 ERA. And I mean, then you've got Tyler Glasnow, who's off injured. He's 3-0, 2.73. I think where one of the areas the Dodgers for the trade deadline and for October to identify the bullpen won't even come from a trade. I think they need to move Roki Sasaki in the bullpen, who's 3-5 on the year, 72 innings pitched, 4.88 ERA. I think he's more suited to that long innings role than starting like we've seen now. So I think that's one area they can identify. This lineup is powered by stars like Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. One of the most dangerous offenses in Major League Baseball. I mean, Mookie Betts is starting to pick it up. Was 200 there for a while. Now he's starting to pick it up. He's 244, 11 home runs, 28 RBIs. Freddie Freeman, who just Mr. Consistent. I mean, I know I throw it around. This guy's consistent. 293 at his age, 13 home runs, 46 RBIs, 382 on base percentage, 494 slugging. Shohei Ohtani putting another unbelievable year together, 297, 18 home runs, 50 RBIs. Max Muncy, 265, 17 home runs, 37 RBIs. Teoscar Hernandez, 275, 32 RBIs. Kyle Tucker, I think the signing of Kyle Tucker has kind of been overshadowed, where you get the big signing of Tucker. He's only batted 239, but the offense is so deep that they're able to mask that. I mean, Andy Pagas, I don't know, Paganis, 271. I expect Will Smith to pick it up, 249, 6 home runs. They consistently rank among the leaders in runs scored, home runs, on base percentage. What's been most impressive on this Dodgers team is their resilience. Even with the injuries, testing the pitching staff, they've stayed near the top of the NL in every statistical category and ability to develop throughout the roster. With the trade deadline approaching, they're expected to pursue pitching out, which could make this roster even more elite. I mean, you're getting a nice bounce back season on there from the Dodgers. I mean, Tanner Scott, he's starting 11 saves on the year, 2.10 ERA. Alex Vesia, who wasn't on the playoff the roster last year, 2.6 ERA, 13 holds on the year. So, but I see them identifying start a reliever. I would even say a second baseman. Joe Mack's a beast. We're going to talk about him. He's looking. He's go Marlins. Yeah, it's definitely when Alex comes on talking. We're talking a little more on Marlins baseball, but I wonder what the Marlins will be doing later. But speaking a little of the Dodgers before Alex comes on and we talk Marlins. So it's an exciting time right now in Miami because they're looking hot and they're right in the thick of the wild card race, and even the division is not out of reach. But I don't know where I think the Dodgers got to identify second base. Soupy Hootie. Thanks for tuning in, man. And was it Soupy Booty? Joe Mack. Yeah, Joe Mack's a dude. Thanks for tuning in. Talk about him and NHB Wrestling Channel. Go Marlins. Thanks for tuning in. They're looking really good. Looking at they're only a couple games back even of the AL East. My second hot team, Philadelphia Phillies. I mean, this team started off so poor. But, I mean, they've got a dominant 1-2, I think, with Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez, 10-3 on the year. Once was he 1.77 ERA? I got that right. I don't even have that in front of me. I'm getting it now. 2 ERA, 10-3 on the year, 117 innings pitched, 136 Ks. I think that's a dominant 1-2 that can rival some of what the Dodgers are doing. I think the Phillies probably got the best chance to take them down. Phillies or the Braves. Braves got to pick it up. But, they've one of the more hotter teams since making that move from firing Rob Thompson to going to Johnny Baseball. Starting rotation, major strength. If they, in my opinion, if they can get the form of what Jesus Luzardo was last year with Philadelphia, this would be a strong 1-2-3 with Zach Wheeler coming back and looking very solid. Zach Wheeler on the year, 8-1 with a 2.03 ERA. I think that could definitely help them. I mean, they did have the first pitcher to reach 10 wins. And let's see. Sorry, I've got it all over. I got my stats all over right now. Christopher Sanchez might be the leader. And Christopher Sanchez right now, second, with first to reach 10 wins, but Aaron Ashby right now, 11 wins on the year. Offensively, this Phillies has production throughout the lineup. Bryce Harper continues to anchor the middle of the order. Trey Turner swinging a better bat of late. Bryce Harper. Trey Turner 237. Yeah, 256 for Schwarber. If you get Schwarber at 256, you're taking a huge win with his, because he's usually home run or bust, 30 home runs on the year. Bryce Harper, 275, 20 home runs on the year. Brandon Marsh is just tearing it up in left field. He's 317, leads the team, 45 RBIs. Alex Baum got to pick it up. Bryson Stott, 241. Justin Crawford, just above 250, which is good. I think where the Phillies got to go trade deadline line is maybe trying to add an extra outfielder. I don't think Alexi Garcia has got it done. But offensively, this Phillies production through the lineup, Harper, Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, even Justin Crawford, younger Justin Crawford's helped this offense. It's going to be the pitching for the Phillies. I know I'm going back and forth here, but Christopher Sanchez, National League break. He's probably one of the best pitchers in the National League, Zach Wheeler. If you can get a glimpse of what Aaron Nola has been in the past, it's a very dangerous, already dangerous team. But, I mean, Jesus Luzardo's got to pick it up. Another reason the Phillies have been so successful is consistency. They've avoided the prolonged and losing streaks after the firing and won series, ranking among the league's leaders in run differential. As the trade deadline approaches, the Phillies are expected to be buyers, obviously. The roster is already built to contend for a championship. But adding another late-inning reliever or versatile bench bat, I also think outfielder could make this team dangerous. I think they might have to try to look for a starting right fielder, everyday right fielder, and bring Garcia off the bench. I mean, they have an elite pitching depth. You got a veteran core, extensive postseason experience. Philadelphia could enter the second half of the season looking as one of the favorites to win the National League, and I hope they do. I really hope they do, because I do not want to see another Dodgers title. All right. My third hot team, and I could have put in another one, but I want to talk about the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays 7-3 in the last 10. Six-game heater. I mean, riding a hot stretch behind improved offense and strong pitching, and no big names climbing through the American League playoff picture. Right now, they're 5 games up. Yankees, it says 3 games, but they're 5 games up. They're 5 games up in the loss column. So, I mean, one of the baseball's hottest teams that are past few weeks, month, I should say. Turning inconsistent start.
What's up, my man?
Alex, how we doing?
Good, and you, man. I'm 1 minute late. This is a record for Cuban people.
Hey, all right. Yeah, it's definitely a record for you. Hey, man, thanks for coming on. I know it's a busy time for you right now, but got some exciting stuff cooking down in South Florida for you.
Oh, man, and for you always, man. We'll always make some time for you, Russ. Love talking with you, brother.
Hey, man, it's well, actually in Florida in general, because we're talking a little Rays right now. Florida, I mean, they're right. They're playing hot baseball, pulling away from my team right now. So we're looking like ass. But well, I'll get into this. I know you have some limited time, but so we can get into the Marlins because of what they're 19-6. I thought I saw 20-6 in the month.
20-6, yeah.
20-6 in the month of June. I mean coming in, and you know my opinions, and you know I think this team's a little better than the average fan, just because a lot of young guys, they don't have the stars minus Sandy, but the expectations weren't there, and it was just like last year. I mean, they weren't expected to contend. It's more of a rebuilding phase. I mean, and now you turn around 20-6 in the month, and have a 14-run outburst. What's the feeling right now in Miami? What's your feeling on the baseball team as we're inching closer to the deadline?
Well, man, it's the talk of the town here, and I know we talked about it before, even when the whole World Baseball Classic was going on, and how I felt about the Marlins, that they could surprise some people. And obviously, with a young team, you're always going to go in any professional sport. There's going to be highs and lows. What has been refreshing to me, which is it hasn't been a usual way of operation here in the Marlins, is they made splash offseason signings and their free agents, and when they didn't pan out, they designated them for assignments. Usually, they push those things along to try to save face but they realize they made certain mistakes, or you're trying to get a dead piece, you're trying to get a decent closer, you're trying to get a right fielder. But I'm like, you got to let your young pieces develop. And arguably the most difficult position right now for us to fill is third base. I know they demoted Connor. They called up Paulie. So that's something that I can see them making a move before the trade deadline, depending on how the season trends. Because as it goes right now, I don't expect Marlins to be sellers. I really don't. And we were talking before the show throughout the day. It would be a disservice to the franchise. I understand situations, and transactionally you might have to make certain moves. But if this team is winning and they have a young core and relatively a cheap core, because if you start winning baseball games and more fans start coming, we know the economic situations with the Marlins. We know they get a lot of money back in revenue sharing. So the owner's making that money. So it's not about, you can cut even and at least invest in your baseball team. But if the fans support this team, it's only right that first and foremost, you got to try to get contract extensions with some key players. You're not going to extend everybody. We understand we're a low market team, which I still don't understand how, but due to various ownership, various situations. But it's just exciting, man, and it's a testament to, with young talent, if you focus on development, if you focus on the right things, little by little, they're going to start succeeding. And you're seeing it before your eyes. And don't get me wrong, I was one of the first ones. I was questioning a lot of decisions the manager was making early in the season. Now, our play, maybe you can help me out with this one, Russ, because the moment Alex Cora got fired, my brain was already ticking. I'm like, oof, maybe we can get Cora next year. But now, Clayton has done a decent job, a great job. But when your players are producing, it makes your job that much easier. And when you got two top of your rotation guys, surprise of the year is Max Meyer, which probably will be comeback player of the year, might be in the Cy Young if he continues the streak. And then you got Sandy at 9-4. I know Yuri's record doesn't show, but to me, what's crazy, it's him and Sandy have almost identical ERAs. And Sandy has a 9-4 record, and Yuri has a 4-6 record. So it's one of those things that we legit have 3 possible number 1 starters in this rotation, or maybe 1, 2. So it's just exciting, man. I knew the model we were going for. Obviously, when we hired Bendix, and I was a full supporter of, like, let's trust him, let's see what he does, let's see his vision. And quite frankly, I have no complaints. I mean, a few signings here and there, but based on their designation for assignments, they kind of rectify that, and they kind of gave that support to the minor league system and the development. They redid the academies in Jupiter. So it's a bunch of investments that you see, and hopefully it just continues to pay off. And then we have sustained success, which is the most difficult part here.
Yeah. You brought up the DFAs. They brought up, yes, you signed Chris Paddock, thinking he's going to be a key rotation guy. He doesn't work out now. He got DFA'd by Texas. You bring in Christopher Morel, thinking he's going to be your everyday first baseman. He doesn't work out. They cut bait. Give it to the younger guys. I could see third base. I don't know if Jared Snoha is more of an everyday third baseman or a good spark plug platoon guy off the bench who's enough. I don't know if he can do every day, but like we've discussed in the past, and we discussed this, when I went down to Miami, I went to the World Baseball Classic games. I know your son got to go to a couple games. The baseball support is there because I mean, not just us, everybody who watched the World Baseball Classic can see that people are passionate about baseball.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not just, Miami, it's every sport. If your team's not spending money, if your team's not winning, you're not going to support unless you're, a diehard, like I'm supporting my team no matter what. But I mean, the fan base is there. It's just, the former ownership and always, hey, we win a World Series, we tear it down. I'm with you. I don't understand. I get it. Miami's not New York. Miami's not LA, but it's still one of the biggest cities in the United States. I don't get we're a small market. I'm like, Miami is probably bigger than New York now with the amount of people moving in the state of Florida.
Yes. Yeah. And And our stadium, Russ, is in the middle of Little Havana. For those people that are not familiar with Miami, Little Havana is highly Cuban population. But either way, every Latin American cultural hub here is 5 to 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away, and we see it obviously. The tradition of the Dolphins, the tradition of the Heat. That I know Miami. It's a very vivid city, very lively city. So I know in certain areas, certain states, certain cities, sports teams are what really drives the city's economy and what drives every interest. But with the Marlins, what really hurts as a Marlins fan is that I'm truly the first. My generation is the first generation of Marlins fans. So we will be the first ones because when the Marlins the inaugural season in '93, I was 6. So we're the first generation that got to see him up and coming. It's not like our parents passed it down to us, the fandom. Same thing with the Heat. We're really the first generation of the Heat. We're like the third generation of the Dolphins or second generation. And the same thing with the Panthers. But the molding of the Panthers, if the Marlins can emulate that formula, and we see what the Panthers are now, where they are perennial contending for the Stanley Cup, and they're investing in their team, and what happens? They're the hottest ticket in town. And the ownership invested in their team, invested in their beliefs. If due to the Marlins history and the fire sales through 2 ownerships and the lies to get that stadium built on the taxpayers, the burden on the taxpayers, if this regime can actually have sustained success and the fans see that they invest in their team, I believe we can finally achieve what we set out to be. Maybe it's not going to be a sellout every night, but there could easily be 20,000 people every single night in that stadium to watch the guys play. And it is true. It sucks playing on an empty stadium. I know you're still a professional baseball player and you're getting paid, but when that stadium is packed, as you saw it, it's electric, man. It's a small venue. Especially when it's closed, the roof, well, usually it's always closed. You just feel, and Marlins it's a nice experience. It's a really cool experience. So I'm just hoping that, and I know you'll touch upon it, and I want to hear your take on what are possible acquisitions, because I have one, but this is just, because I'm Cuban and I would love them. Is there a possibility that we acquire Aroldis Chapman? Like, I just want to throw it out.
I think he's gone, but the Red Sox now turning it around a little bit. I think it's a little too late for him. Now, I mean, they're still like 13 games out of anywhere. So, yeah. I mean, that would be amazing for him. But I know what you're saying about the lies with the stadium, with the owner. He won't be the first one who's done that, because I know I'm from Los Angeles, and the original owner of the Dodgers lied to the people of Chavez Ravine, said, "Hey, we're going to build this up for you, and you can come back." And then he was like, just a mass exodus of just built a stadium. And by the time it was done, he's like, "Yeah, too bad." And like, there's like 6 families who just literally just said, "Screw you," and like stuck it out. And they just made their life living hell. But it won't be the first one. I'm wondering, and you brought up the trade deadline. Obviously, Sandy, who's the highest paid, Alcantara is the highest paid guy on the roster. He's got the 27. I think he's got a player option of 27 or 28 next year. But now with the Marlins playing, starting to get back into wild card contention, and even AL East contention is not out of the picture the way the Braves have been playing lately, and looking like Tarek Skubal might stay in Detroit. What will happen there if they get too much of a big package? Because the way he's looking on the mound, 9-4, 4.2 ERA, he's starting to look like he's getting back to his Cy Young form.
And that's one thing that if he's playing at that rate, Russ, and we're winning ball games, and because we started this month 8 games below 500. We ended this month 6 games above 500. If we continue this trend, I mean, we're probably not going to win 20 games in July, but if we win every series, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, and you're there in contention, and the trade, when is the trade deadline? A month from now?
August 3rd.
August 3rd. If we're there in the thick of things, I cannot fathom that this organization would it's I just can't process how you can explain to the fans that you traded your ace in a playoff run. Like you're in the thick of it. I understand if you're out of it and you still got young arms, like we've mentioned before. I know we have a lot of young arms that have been hurt, that are going to be out for the season. So I know we have depth in the rotation for the future. So what would you do? Let me ask you. You're the GM.
No.
You don't move them, right?
I think their payroll is so low anyways, and if you're contending and you want to keep on building off of, I've said it to you before and texted you.
Yeah,
you got to build off the World Baseball Classic. You saw what it was in Miami, and they've obviously spoke about just making that a permanent home for the World Baseball Classic. You saw that stadium when Dominican Republic and Venezuela was playing, or is USA DR or USA Venezuela, where it's standing room only, and you got to spend $350 to sit in an okay seat just to get in the stadium. And I know because there's nowhere to park in Little Havana.
No.
There's nowhere to park. You can't like, I'm gonna, like, in some stadiums you can be like, I know this area, I can park here for free. There's nowhere you can do that. And don't get me wrong, your car might not be there at the end of the game too. So, you don't do that in Chavez Ravine area either. So but I mean, there's nowhere to park, so you're talking $30-$35 for parking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not just talking about what you're getting from the stadium. You're making money from concessions. The people, and I saw the people who live outside the stadium, they're making money too.
Oh,
they're selling beer. They're selling parking spaces. Street vendors are selling. So it's all a positive. But like we've spoken in the past, if the ownership's just like, hey, well, this is too good of a deal, I'm like, it's not going to be a good look. And I know you saying being a first generation Marlins fan, and you went through 97 and 2003, where they won a World Series and then tore it down.
And that's what hurt us the most, because I know we went through some injuries in 97. We lost Alex Fernandez, but I believe we could have repeated, or we could have been contending for a few years, which I don't understand. And that would have catapulted us into possibly getting a new stadium before, when that whole era of new stadiums were being built, 99, 2000, 2001. Like, I think 6 or 8, 9 teams got new stadiums around that time frame in the early 2000s. So, and like I said, you understand certain situations in regards to, I knew when we moved in 2012, they made the big splash and we signed Heath Bell, Jose Reyes. We knew, you got Giancarlo eventually standing to extend after that. There was a bunch of things that happened. And the whole Ozzie Guillen getting fired, we hired a big name manager. What you just need as a fan is consistency. And you're going to back up your young squad. And I always think about the Astros in that aspect. I remember the Astros struggled for a few years. They just completely depleted their team. They rebuilt their minor league system. And then they were perennial AL pennant contenders for the next decade. I genuinely see, not because I'm a Marlins fan, I genuinely see that there. And I see that possibility there because we do have the foundation. We just have to extend the right players. And then, because you don't want to go on and extend the wrong player, and then you tie yourself down to that, even though it's easier moved. The contracts could be moved depending on the value that we sign to. But if you eat up some of these arbitration years in return for an extension, you can have a decent squad at a reasonable price across the board. And
100%, you're seeing what some of these pre-arbitration guys are getting. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a lot of money. You're giving a guy 8 years, 130, 160 million. You saw what Griffin Connor Griffin got, but it's if they pan out to the way you think they're going to pan out, because it's all scouting, that 130 is going to look like the best deal ever. Like you saw with Ozzie Albies. Ozzie Albies was making nothing compared to what the type of player he is. He's making like 108 million for another 5 years. I mean, for the type of player. So I mean, but you're seeing it. There's some young players on this Marlins roster. Otto Lopez, probably coming out of bat 333. A guy I would kill for. Another guy, Xavier Edwards. A guy not batting 304, 30 RBIs. He's not your typical mold of new baseball. Of what, and I mean, he works the count. He gets on base. He's a contact hitter. But I mean, it's just a guy that, personally, for me, being just a bit old, a guy who likes older baseball, it's a guy I love. I'm like, hey, this guy gets on base. That's what I need in the postseason. I don't need a home run every time. I mean, you've got Kyle Stowers, but the two guys up the middle, you got to lock them up because, I mean, in my opinion, that's the best up the middle combination in Major League Baseball as of right now.
I'm telling you, and what better time to lock them up than now? Because Otto Lopez is a for sure all-star. Liam Hicks is also an all-star. You got Alcantara and possibly Max Meyer also all-stars. You're talking about a little Marlins team that might have 4 to 5 all-star baseball players right now, which is unheard of. And 2 years ago, no one. And how we acquired all of these guys. That to me is the best part. And where you got full confidence now in Bendix, and not only Bendix, his whole staff there, the scouting department, the front office, the coaching staff, the development staff. Like, they really invested in that, and it's paying dividends. So I just think, man, if we can continue, it's been fun baseball, not gonna lie, because like you said, we don't play the way baseball's played now, but we've perfected our style of baseball, which is old school baseball. Get on base, our hormones will come in little chunks here and there, but now we do have power. Look at Griffin Conine. He's come back. He's getting his swing up. He's back from the DL. So those are things. We got pieces where we almost got a surplus where you're not going to start finding places for these guys and get rested. But we could go on a run, man. Like, I don't see, because we generally, you as a baseball expert, what is the weakness you see in this team aside from third base?
I like Jared Sano a lot.
Yeah,
but I just don't think he's an everyday guy. I like him. I think he fits the South Florida, Miami, Latin vibe. He's very, he's vibrant with his baseball. I think he fits that vibe. I just don't see him playing long term. I think, our bullpen's probably one. I think you can never have. I mean, you've got Bendar's now in the IL.
Yes.
You have with Phillips, and you have Fairbanks, who looks like the biggest steal in the offseason, which was a great sign. But, bullpen's definitely one. First base will probably be one, what they do with them if they keep on platooning Hicks. But like we just got in the comments, Joe Mack is looked like he solidified that catcher spot for the long term, and he's got a cannon behind the plate.
Arguably probably one of the best defensive catchers in baseball.
But I would say bullpen, and then, if they could Connor Norby was supposed to be that guy to lock that up from that trade when he got him and Stowers came over. Third base would probably be the best one. I think one thing is, I see some of these younger guys, like, they get Owen Casey, they get Kyle Stowers. These younger guys who were at the time, Casey on the Cubs and Stowers when Baltimore was competing, they're competing for the AL East. They're competing, trying to win World Series. They can't go through 0 for 30 slumps.
Yes.
These teams can't afford the guy to break through his slump. With a team like the Marlins, you're like, hey, we're not very good right now. Just break through it. That was a guy, Stowers. I literally told Bobby when they got him, and he's 235, 8 home runs, 34 RBIs. That was your off season that year. I'm like, if this guy can break through it, he's going to be your everyday left or right fielder wherever they're playing Casey.
Yeah, and I see Casey right field long term. And I know, for example, Marcy has gone through his struggles this year. I don't see that lasting too long. I feel eventually, little by little, it'll creep up. But we're already, in July. So this has already been an ongoing thing. He might be hitting it by the Mendoza line for the rest of the year, which is okay. That's fine. I get it. It's one of those gap years for him. As long as he still contributes defensively and all that, you see it. But like you mentioned, the last thing I'll say before I go, and then I'll let you be you. If the Marlins embrace the personality of your city, like you mentioned for the World Baseball Classic, because I know baseball predominantly is played a classic way, but I believe every team will take on the identity of their city, of their fan base. If the Marlins embrace that, and for the most part, the games that I've been this year, they have, I think sustained success is upon the horizon. But these next few weeks are going to determine a lot for the Marlins' future. So I'm out in June.
I went to that game, and granted, the game I went to was at a Friday at 12, so not everybody's got to work, but it was still the whole first level's full.
Yeah,
and people, I mean, and it's and I loved it. I mean, I was like, hey, I know baseball's supposed to be. I'm like, I love the environment. I mean, I'm from my best friends are all Hispanic, so in high school. So I'm like, I fit right in here. I'm like, I'm cool with this. I'm like, I know I stand out, but I'm like, this is fine. Like, and even though I don't speak much enough conversational Spanish, I'm like, we could talk baseball. They knew like we could get through enough where I could have a little baseball conversation. But I'm like, they need, it's heavily Latin. They got to embrace that. That's just what they need to embrace. I think the Marlins have their future third baseman in the organization in Iva Arquette.
Oh, okay.
I think he is the future of third base, especially because Lopez is he's locked up shortstop.
Because I know he's our shortstop, but he has the body of a third baseman. He has
and that's a guy. And we did the draft show last year. I think, and he's already tearing it up Double-A. I don't think he'll be up this year. I've looked at his timeline. They gave his timeline 2028. I think he's up next year sometime. And I've been saying that since I'm like, I don't see a 28 timeline. So I think he's going to be their third baseman in the future. But you talked about the Panthers, and we have it the same here. I don't think the Rays or the Marlins should mold after what the Panthers or the Lightning did, but both, like Panthers, they sell out every day. I know if you go to I think it's the whatever, I can't even remember the arena's name. The Lightning sell out every game.
Yeah.
It's there. I mean, I know this baseball's got a lot more money, and we got a salary cap, and let's hope we don't have a lockout.
That's one thing that I wanted to ask you, and this is my last question, and then I promise I'll let you be. Because we've talked about this, and off the record, salary floor, the ceiling. I know MLB is not gonna fly with that. So my fear is that baseball is on the rise again. There was a few years that baseball was completely unwatchable with the youth. Now they're on the rise again. The worst thing that can happen to Major League Baseball is a work stoppage, where you just lock fans out, you lock the players out. How do you feel realistically this could be resolved? Because I've always wanted to ask that question to you.
Yeah, we've spoke about it, and I know now you got on. You had a little time. So I mean, I know you stand. There's been multiple, proposals sent.
Yes.
The last one, honestly, I liked. It was bringing up the minimum salary.
Okay.
Bringing up bringing up a minimum salary if you have 4 years of service time. The arbitration would just be basically wiped.
Okay.
And then no more high school players drafted. So you wouldn't, which I am all about, because I think you mature. First off, I'll take a 21-year-old kid who's had 3 years of college, or now it would be 2 years. I think they come out a more mature player, but also a more mature person. Because a lot of high school kids go straight to the MLB, or like they did with the NBA back in the day. They're not mature enough to live on their own, and they have all this money.
Of course.
Half of them don't even know how to do laundry and cook.
Yeah, and now also NIL, colleges. That's another business there. So MLB will be in bed with college baseball, just like NBA and NFL is in bed with college football and college basketball, because they're going to make money at the end. So now you got these guys. If that proposal goes through, you got these guys for 2
I,
years.
I think what we're seeing in Major League Baseball now is you're starting to see more and more college players that are coming up quicker because they're more physically mature, they're more mentally mature. And now we're seeing, obviously Paul Skeens being the one of the poster boy that they're just more mature.
Already.
It's better for the organization because they're not going to have a 4 or 5 year window where, hey, this guy will be up in 4 years if he pans out. Oh, we might have a 2-year window. The other thing was salary floor, which I think would be great, and no more deferred contracts.
That's
so they
on
would
Bobby Bonilla Day. Happy Bobby
Bonilla Day. No more deferred contracts, and then Manny Ramirez is getting his last payment today of $2 million.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
But that was
there's a bunch of deferred contracts. People don't realize that.
They would give the teams 2 years to get rid of deferred contracts.
Okay.
So Shohei Ohtani and everybody else on the Dodgers, they'd have to start paying all that out. But
Ooh.
I was not I don't know. The MLPA, like 5 minutes after that, ripped it and said, no, we don't want to do that. So I know I don't think a salary cap's going to work in Major League Baseball. I think the players have too much say in everything.
Yeah. No, and it's kind of before.
I think and I know you'll probably speak about this in a little bit when you guys are on East 10th Street Boys.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing in the NBA with the first, second, and aprons.
Yeah.
It definitely changes the way you have to think. And obviously, me being a Celtics fan, they just had a big trade with Jaylen Brown that I know you're going to talk about in a little bit. But that being it, because they're going to be in the first apron, they had to make that. I don't mind that. I'm like, hey, you're locked up. You're in the first apron. Dodgers, Yankees, Blue Jays, teams like that. Even though the Yankees are my team, I'm like, hey, your salary, you're way above, not just paying luxury tax. I'm like, you've got this minimum amount to go spend.
Yeah.
Like with the Heat, but I would not be opposed to that. If that's better, I don't see it happening. The baseball is different than every sport. It's and the players have a lot of say. I agree with it. They don't need a work stoppage. I mean, I know we have one guy on this network, Fistanza's a Expos fan, and I mean, that hurt him, and they've lost a team because of that. That could have changed everything if they ended up winning the World Series during that work stoppage. So I'm excited. I mean, I don't root for the Marlins, but I don't root against them anymore. Maybe when I was a kid because they beat the Yankees in 2003. But now I'm a little more mature adult. But I'm excited. I think I was excited with the World Baseball Classic, just going down there and seeing the baseball fans. And I know you said your son got to experience that, and it was amazing. I'm like, hey, Miami's a big market, and Florida is booming. Florida is booming economically. People are moving down here. I prefer maybe stop at some point. Not so many.
It's getting out of hand for the regular folk like ourselves, because it's becoming like a tech hub. It's becoming a billionaires like playground. So everything from a restaurant to a basic Walmart necessities are skyrocketing, and it's unfortunate for us. But I know the sports teams are doing well. Tourism is doing great. So all I want is my competitive Marlins, and we have youth talent. Let's lock it down. And I'm just excited to continue to see this push. They're the funnest team in baseball right now, man. And and everybody now is on alert. That's what I love. Everybody's paying attention to the Marlins. So we're relaxing.
And the pitching, it's a strong one too. And Max Meyer is a guy I maybe thought it was a bullpen piece, and now he's 9-0 with
I always thought Max Meyer was our closer because he has electric stuff. But after the surgeries and on, I'm like, this honestly that surprised me. This came out of nowhere to me. But hey, just due diligence, do what you got to do, continue to work on your performance. And
would you be opposed for the Marlins bringing back Luis Ariz and put
No,
him in first base.
Not at all. I'll take him in. Not at all.
I love Luis Ariz.
That's once again another player that fits how we play baseball. Not a power guy, gets on base, works the counts, and you can always rely on him. So I would not be opposed to that at all. But we'll see.
It's exciting stuff down there going. We've got some exciting. I've spoken. We've got some exciting stuff. We got the White Sox who are now finally back first in the AL Central. We got the Rays who are, these are the White Sox can spend. White Sox got money. They just haven't really spent lately. Rays don't have any money. They got a new ownership group trying to fight to get a new stadium. It's not going too well, but
I hope they get it, man. Out of all the teams, they need a new stadium because the A's are already getting their new stadium when they're moving to Vegas. It's already in progress, but the Rays deserve a new stadium, man.
It's Alex. I'll tell you, it's the worst stadium in the world. I put it right up there with the Oakland Coliseum. It's terrible. It's terrible. I think they're talking about moving to like by Raymond James, where George Steinbrenner would be a way better sports hub. Tampa Bay, it's not Miami, but it's starting to grow. It's growing a lot. So and it will come down to the point where they will move to out of state or move to Orlando, and then people will miss the Rays here because the Rays have been always very competitive. Never, always, made it to one World Series, but always a competitive team. People will miss it after it's gone.
And that's the thing. And look, I remember when they were threatening to move our Marlins to San Antonio. I remember that. And Laura used that to get a new stadium. And on the other side of it, the Panthers, they were talking about relocation of the Panthers because no one would go to the games in Sunrise. But once you start winning, unfortunately, I know for every market, unless it's a huge traditional franchise, and like I said, generation by generation, like the Packers could suck, and that state Lambeau will be full every single Sunday, because it's just an event. It's a generational event, family event, city event. But here, unfortunately, Miami is predominantly, and I know we get bad fame because of our traffic, and when the Heat games start, the arena is always half empty. That everybody's trying to get into the arena. Everybody's trying to get to the ballpark because traffic is a pain here. But if you continue success and you continue to win and play competitively, the fans are going to support you. Why? Because
I think me being from LA, I say LA, but I'm from LA County. I'm not from LA City. So, but it's the same thing with Miami is. With LA, minus the Dodgers, I will say the Dodgers always have a supportive fan base. They always sell out. There is so much to do. Mm-hmm. It is beautiful weather. There's so much other to do. If you're not winning like the Lakers do, people show up to the Lakers, but when the Lakers suck, you'll see some stars here and there, but it'll be half full. There's so much other stuff to do. It's 75 degrees. I can go to the beach.
Yep.
It's not going to be the same if you go to a Packers game or Cardinals game in St. Louis. There's, no offense to St. Louis. It's probably great, but Miami or Los Angeles have a lot more other stuff than St. Louis, Missouri.
Of course, man. And that's across the board. It's a blessing and it's a curse. But, what can you do, man? You can just hope for the best.
I'm actually watching the World Cup.
You're going to watch it?
I'm actually watching a little bit. Got to support it a little bit here and there.
Well, when I'm doing East 10th Street Boys, I'm going to kind of be peeking in through the end.
It was hilarious. I went out to this Mexican place, found this great happy hour, $3 margaritas, right? Oof. Yeah.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
That's my Friday night, my Friday happy hour for sure every week. But it's funny. My brother-in-law is Argentinian, so he loves Argentinian soccer, and they're like Colombian and Mexican because the owners they're Colombian. So I'm like, I don't really care, but give me some environment. She's like, oh, show up tomorrow night for the Colombia game. You guys just put on a yellow shirt. I'm like, he's not going to put on a yellow shirt and root for Colombia. Like, that's such a woman comment. Like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, no fair. I'm like, that's just like
what's happening here.
yeah, I'm like, no.
Yeah, he'll come in baby blue. Yeah, he'll be hearing his baby blue and white. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm like, baby me, I don't care. I'm just like, him, no.
All right, man. Hey,
All right,
thank you.
Alex.
I'm gonna head out. Thank you for having me, bro. I will be on with you soon again whenever you need me.
Sounds good. Thank you,
I'm
Alex, for coming on, talking a little Marlins baseball. Hopefully it keeps on rolling on and you keep on getting more fans and make things interesting in the NL West, NL East.
Yes, sir. Take care, buddy.
All right, you have a great night. That was Alex from the East 10th Street Boys coming in, talking a little Marlins baseball. Very exciting time down there. 20-6 in the month of June, so it's very exciting time. Hopefully, they capitalize on it. I spoke about the Rays, one of my hot teams. I mean, I hope me being in the Tampa area, I hope this team gets a new. It's definitely something with the Marlins they can mold off of, uh, and look, you know, want to talk a little other one of the surprising teams, Chicago White Sox. Very young, lowest expectations in baseball. Let me pull it up right now. One game up in the AL Central, 2 games up in the loss column. I mean, one of the biggest surprises in baseball. Weren't expected to be competitive this quick after finishing near the bottom of the standings the last few years. Preseason projections had them a rebuilding season. Instead, they're playing winning baseball. I loved what this team was doing. I mean, you've got improved arms. You add Murakami, who's looked phenomenal. I love their shortstop, second baseman. He's not playing. Chase Mydroth. I think this team. I mean, you got Brandon Montgomery. You'll get Kyle Teal coming back here shortly. And then before we wrap up, I'm going to trash on my team. What's going on with my New York Yankees? Obviously, one of the biggest disappointment in all of Major League Baseball is the New York Mets. June collapse, offense is inconsistent, pitching concerns. But the Yankees, 7-game losing streak now, longest skid of the season. Offense has disappeared. Many games were 3 or fewer hits. Obviously, got swept by the Red Sox. Aaron Judge injury. They started off very good, have not looked good at late. Ben Rice is struggling. Cody Bellinger's struggling. They pull up them stats. 5 games back in the loss column. Five games back in the loss column. Pulling up my stats right now for the Yankees. Bellinger's now 254. Ben Rice 269. Jazz Chisholm sucks. I hate Jazz Chisholm. He was a good defensive player at game 225. Caballero 246. 278. Goldschmidt. Ryan McMahon 210. I think that third baseman is something there. Maybe George Lombard. Alex Rosario, Amid Rosario 250. Anthony Volpe 246 is better here in light. Pitching slipped while the offense. Pitching is, Cam Schlittler surrendered 4 home runs the other day against the Tigers, rolled them 9-3 today. Today they lost 6-2. He got swept by the Tigers. Ben Rice 1 hit. Dominguez 0 for 4. Bellinger 0 for 5. Wells 0 for 2. Give me a catcher. I think it's Ryan Jeffers. Or I think Ryan Jeffers is the number 1 target. I don't see them Hunter Goodman. from the Rockies getting that. But despite the slump, the Yankees do have enough talent to rebound. If Judge returns healthy, this lineup regains the rhythm. However, the recent stretch exposed how dependent this offense has been on this biggest stars. And this definitely, I will say, being a being a Yankees fan, the Yankees don't play good in the month of June ever. Ever. A few names I'm looking at. I think George Lombard keeps on going. Might be able to come up. Ryan Jeffers is one, and honestly, I brought him up. I take Luis Ariz. Give me Jose Caballero. Give me a Lombard at third or short. Give me a Caballero. Luis Ariz play second base. Get rid of Jazz Chisholm. But I mean, you're on a season long 7-game losing streak. Very disappointing right now. 5 games back in the loss column. And the pitching has not held up. I'm really starting to wonder what's going on with Max Fried, if this injury is more than they expected. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling right now. Hopefully they can figure it out. But minus the Yankees, some exciting stuff. I mean, the Dodgers obviously won, but we got the Rays, we got the White Sox who are exciting, the Phillies turnaround, and had the Marlins 20-6, and hopefully they can continue on that. And I've said it, and I don't have to repeat myself, but I think they got to build off the World Baseball Classic. But I want to thank Alex from the East 10th Street Boys who came on to talk a little Marlins baseball. Everybody in the comments who Marlins fans in there, and everybody else who was in there to listen to another episode on deck here on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan. Hope everyone has a great night.